The Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta is out, and I'm here to tell you my early thoughts on it. I wasn't cool enough to get invited out to COD Next, so I gotta experience the game for the first time with you guys. I'll talk about what's good, what's bad, and what they need to improve from the beta to release. Before I get into anything, I want to say I had fun playing it for 5 hours yesterday to gather my thoughts for this review, and I think without a doubt, it will be better than the last 3 Call of Duties, which isn't that difficult with them being Vanguard, MW 2022, and Modern Warfare 3. But it's still great news that we're making an improvement. Let's start off by talking about the weapons and time to kills. I think the guns in general feel really good, and all have different things that they're good at, except the SWAT 5.56 feels like it needs a little buff, and the AIMS or Amos 85 assault rifle, I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but it needs a little nerf, because that one felt like it was the best one easily for me. But the most interesting part about weapons is the attachments. Treyarch wanted to make the attachments be exclusively positive additions to guns with no negatives outside of some of the lasers that are visible to enemies. So, attachments will lower recoil, but they won't lower movement or ADS speeds, making setting up your classes easier for casual players. There's no longer any attachments where it will actually make your weapon worse, which I'm happy about. I think that's a pretty good way to go because it won't take long to figure out what attachments to use because they're all going to be beneficial for your gun. Then for the time to kill, it feels faster than Cold War's, which is Treyarch's last game, but slower than Modern Warfare 3, which is okay, but I actually believe the game would perform its best if they added a little extra health, because of the Omni movement you've all heard so much about. By now, you know that the Omni movement allows you to walk forward, sideways, and backwards while also being able to slide or dolphin dive any way you want. And that all allows you to make some really cool plays and different ways to approach fights. This makes the skill gap bigger, which is a positive thing for an FPS game. But the most important thing is it feels really smooth. If I had to describe it, it's like Cold War's movement, but better in every single way. And in the beta, we're going to be seeing people dolphin diving and sliding everywhere. But I think that's just because players want to get a feel for the movement and try it out. Once the community gets a feel for it, people will use it more logically instead of spamming it. It can easily save you from a death or cause you to lose a gunfight. I don't find it too difficult to hit someone dolphin diving, but others might because it saved me multiple times. Then paired with the Omni movement is the sprint speeds in the game. It feels like players move around the map way faster. I would see people on a UAV, and then when I went to go get them, they would magically teleport to right on top of my character because they could travel so fast. And that's definitely going to be an adjustment to you. And I love the faster movement. Everything caters towards an arcade shooter that should make people want to rush instead of camp, which is why I think the health needs to be slightly higher. But don't worry, campers, your technique is still effective if you can aim well. But that could be a little bit more challenging because the aim assist is definitely weaker than it was in Modern Warfare 2022 and Modern Warfare 3, but I think it's still plenty strong enough for anyone to be successful on controller, which I use, by the way. Now onto the maps. We only have 3 so far, and I think they're okay. First up, let's talk about Skyline. It's a small, fast-paced map that's on a tall building, and it was my least favorite of the 3 maps, which might be a hot take. It felt like the spawns were always flipping, never getting a consistent area enemies were coming from. You would always have enemies attacking you from every side at once. The flow felt really inconsistent to me, which made it a little bit more difficult to string together anything, which was my biggest issue with it. Next up, we have Scud, which is a crashed satellite in a desert. This is the biggest and slowest playing map of the beta, which is still really fast, but people did camp up on the satellite a lot. The positives from this one are you can get good lines of sight and it has good flow, at least with hardpoint and domination. It's a good map for sniping or using the one LMG in the beta, the XMG, which is really good when you're chilling, aka camping in one area, and can pre-aim down sight because it has low recoil and hits hard. I'll have to try it out with more attachments to see if I can make it better with movement builds, but I only got to level 8 because I was trying to test out all the weapons before making this video, which I did. And like I said, they're pretty balanced except for the SWAT 5.56 being a little worse, and the AIMS or Amos 85 being a little bit better. Then the final and best map is Derelict. I think it's great and had my best games on it by far. It's a classic 3-lane map, but with chaos in the middle. It has color to it to help make it aesthetically pleasing. It's mid-sized, but most engagements are close quarters, and I had some crazy games on it that were a blast. Overall, I think Skyline is probably better than I feel about it right now, and Treyarch typically makes good maps, and we're gonna have 16 brand new ones for launch. Well, I guess 13 after these 3. And I'm confident that they're going to be good overall from what we've seen so far. Then for the perks, I didn't get to try them all out because I didn't max out my level yet, But there's a cool new addition with each perk slot having 3 different types of perks. Each slot has 3 colors, with red, blue, or green. And if you select all of your perks to be one color, you get a bonus 4th perk. I used the recon one because you gotta use ghost with it, and people were spamming UAVs since there's only 6 score streaks available in the beta. And what recon gave you was the ability to see enemies through walls right after you respawn, which lets you know where the action is and you can head that way immediately. Then it gives you high alert, which was super useful. And finally, you leave no skulls for the enemy where you take them out. Getting the 4th perk called combat specialty was super useful and important. Also, the gunsmith is vertical instead of horizontal again, which is a great fix. Also, I'm doing a face reveal at 100k, so hit that button if you want to see me. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to switch up to the more negative things I got from the beta. The game is incredibly sweaty currently, and I'm starting with this because we can't know for sure if it's because of skill-based matchmaking being strict or if it's just because the dedicated Call of Duty fans are the only ones playing it this weekend. A lot of my games were super close like strict skill-based matchmaking games are, but I also had games where I did great with 3 to 4 KDs and won. We have to wait until next week to get a better understanding of the matchmaking. Then one of the dumbest things that I don't understand why Call of Duty ever changed is that score streaks don't loop. Once you get them, you have to die in order to earn them again. It punishes players for doing well, and it ruins the ability for players to run 3 low in streaks to keep looping them, like you could back in Black Ops 2 with maybe a Hunter Killer Drone, Hellstorm, and Lightning Strike, which I did all the time. It's not a huge deal, it's just dumb. Also, the score streaks are way too expensive. The UAV is 675 points, and the Hellstorm missile is 1,200 points. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Hellstorm missiles were always around 750 points. Also, we need more than 6 score streaks in the game to truly know if they're good or not. Another issue is the tactical equipment where you have no choice but to use the stem shot if you want to do well. As you know, it heals you when you use it, and with the fast-paced nature of this game, you need to have stems or else you will almost always never be able to go on long streaks. I'm not sure what they could do to fix that, but I wish people could use concussion grenades if they wanted to. And really quickly, could you like the video because these take a lot of effort to make? I really appreciate it. Then a couple issues are with spawns sometimes being bad and connection issues with servers, but with the spawns, they can fix those between now and the full release. And Call of Duty always has server issues with a new game or after an update, so I'm sure it will get fixed at some point and then broke again and then fixed again. It's just something you gotta deal with as a Call of Duty fan. Overall, I'm happy with Black Ops 6 so far, and I'm looking forward to playing this game and making more videos on it. I'm curious of your guys' opinions on Black Ops 6 so far, just like I was curious about your COD multiplayer opinions where you ranked every COD worst to best here. I'll catch you next time. Peace.